everybody, my name is Dr. Film, and yes, I'm qualified to have that name. Before we begin, you should know that this review contains no spoilers. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe for movie reviews and more. So without further delay, let's begin our first course of this video.
The story.
Now for those who don't know, the story focuses on a woman named Margot who gets invited to an exclusive restaurant on a remote island where the acclaimed chef has prepared a fine tasting menu along with shocking surprises. This story took me by surprise. Honestly, when going into this, I was expecting this film to be a slasher thriller film with some comedic elements. But no, it's much more than that. The story was so compelling that you would be invested in it so much that you wouldn't take the time to press pause or go to the restroom. On top of that, the story also has surprisingly complex themes. I don't want to spoil anything, but man, the way they display the themes in this story through the cinematography and the characters, it was just so deep and thought-provoking. In short, my friends, this isn't your standard horror comedy film. There's a lot more to the menu than meets the eye.
When you walk into Hawthorne, you see that everything has been chosen for a reason. The attention to detail is unparalleled.
It's interesting because it's an experience, and all of us, other than Margot, really are there for the experience of it.
Now, to our second course of this video.
The characters.
Now, as I mentioned before, in this story we follow a young woman named Margot, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. And I know this is to be expected, but man, I just gotta say it, she was phenomenal in this movie. She can play Casey Cook in Split. She can play Beth Harmon in The Queen's Gambit. And in this film, she can play Margot, an innocent woman who is in the wrong place at the wrong time, who surprisingly has great depths to her character. And as for the rest of the cast, they all did a fantastic job. Especially Tyler, played by Nicholas Hoult, who is by far the most hateful character I've ever met. He's the kind of guy that is so obsessed with food that he doesn't care if he's in danger or his girlfriend is in danger.
Is this bergamot I'm getting, Chef?
Yes, it is.
And last but not least, we have the chef, played by Ralph Fiennes, aka Voldemort. Now for this particular character, he isn't one of those chefs that are psychotic or angry all the time, like in The Bear or Bradley Cooper's Burnt. No, this character is mostly silent and gentle, but at the same time, he can be intimidating as heck. He was so intimidating that I was afraid one of the characters might make the wrong choice of saying something bad about his food. This character isn't just a psychopath or some random crazy chef. No, he's a character that is planning something sinister. You don't know what it is, but you'd be interested in seeing how this story will play out and what he's planning for his customers.
The first thing I wanted to ask you, what was it about this project that made you want to be a part of it?
Just the tone of the script was quite unusual. It was a sort of weird combination of a kind of subtle social satire. And I thought the part of Chef Slowick was complex, interesting. I mean, it's quite an interesting interior life, interesting psychology to the character, and it had a dark humor that appealed to me. So there's a combination of tones in it, and I didn't know what. And also there was something about one couldn't quite tell how it would turn out, which I quite liked. You know, it was something indefinable about it that drew me to it.
Dark comedy.
Now, to my surprise, the humor in this film is perfectly well balanced.
As all things should be.
The film unexpectedly gave us some good laughs here and there, without drawing away our attention from the suspense and seriousness of this film. And if I'm totally honest, I think this film works as a dark comedy. I honestly don't see this film working without the humor. And plus, we've got Tyler, who is the cherry on top.
Are you crying?
It's just I find it all very moving.
Stop crying!
Overall, my friends, this film is one of those cinematic events that you can't miss out on this year. The characters were captivating, the horror comedy was utilized well, And the story will leave you invested so much that by the end of this film, you would walk out of that theater thinking to yourself, wow. I mean, wow. But I have to point out that this film isn't exactly perfect. Like the concept of the story for that matter. You know, the concept of a group of characters being invited to a mysterious event, and all of a sudden things go wrong and they're all picked off one by one? Yeah, we've seen that kind of stuff before in other movies and such. But regardless, this film was so worth the watch. With all that said, I give The Menu an 8.5 out of 10. Well guys, that's the end of my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And please follow me on Instagram at Dr. Film Ronces for updates on my channel. And you can follow me on TikTok for funny videos and trailer reactions. And as always, I will see you guys at our next appointment.